Hello everyone, welcome back to the Aura Podcast. I'm joined today with Christopher Gaytan. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm doing amazing. I'm happy to be back here with the return of the podcast this semester. I'm glad to see you're gonna see new faces. You're gonna see a lot more new people, and I'm glad to kick it off with this episode. Chris, how are you doing today? Are you feeling good?
Yeah, I'm good. Just keeping up with school, keeping up with studies, and busy with soccer, definitely.
For sure. Well, just right off the bat, I mean, you're new to Sault Ste. Marie, you're new to Algoma. You came from, I believe it was Olds College in Alberta.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about like that kind of experience like in Alberta?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Alberta was really good for me. I got solid games in, was a starter there, played really well, and ultimately I just had really good footage, and I wanted to decide to take it to the next level and play U Sports soccer, and things kind of worked out here. So yeah, I'm happy it worked out.
What would you say is like a big difference with Algoma and like Olds, or would you say it's kind of like the same?
No, definitely really different. I mean, for one, the studies, right? Like coming from college, going to university, it's definitely a big difference. The classes are different. But yeah, I had transfer credits. In Olds, I got my business management diploma. So the credits kind of transferred over nice, well into the BBA program. So, but yeah, definitely the number one difference definitely has to do with the studies.
So you're currently studying BBA here?
Yeah, with a specialization in HR.
How have you found that so far?
Honestly, it's been tough so far, especially like comparing it to like college and stuff.
Yeah.
It's been tough, but I've been keeping on it, and I think it just requires like a little bit more, you study a little bit harder and stuff like that, because it's definitely a big difference from college studies. For
sure. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely, we're both on the same soccer team, so I've gotten to know you since you've been here, and I've seen that, like that business stats course, that's really been
that's definitely the toughest course right now.
Yeah, it's the toughest course you've taken so far that you've been in school?
Oh yeah, all my life, man, yeah. No, that is the toughest course, definitely.
Have you, obviously you are part of the Algoma soccer team, how have you found that transition from your old team to here?
I mean, that's a good question. I think overall, definitely the U Sports level is one step above CCAA.
Mm-hmm.
But I also believe like there's a lot of great CCAA players that are U Sports level, and it kind of like honestly it kind of just comes down to college university. Like I know for me, when I was coming out of grade 12, I was talking to a lot of universities, but I just didn't have the grades, so I had to look to the college side and stuff like that. So overall I would say the level's better, but like I think CCAA kind of gets disrespected to a certain point. Yeah, definitely.
I do kind of agree with you in that sense, because like for example, when we were playing Humber, that Humber side was different. Like you could say that Humber team could honestly compete in the OUA, and that kind of comes down to like not a lot of kids get like an opportunity who are really good to play youth sports just because they might have not done so well in high school.
Yeah, no, for sure, and like that's something like I would definitely like give advice to anybody. It's like take it serious in high school. You know what I mean? Because you kind of just want to keep your options open. Like I said, like there was certain universities where like I just didn't have the grades to go to because of the courses that I took in high school and the grades I had in high school. So I don't regret anything. I think like going to Olds was like really good for me. I think I had to be there. I think it was great, like exposure for me, and like I said, I played really well. So overall, like I'm happy I went there, but definitely U Sports is a level up, I would say.
So you are from Mississauga, like you, just to clear, you're never from Alberta, but how is it moving to like a different province? Because I mean I've never experienced that.
No, that was big. That was like probably the biggest thing out of everything, was just like moving to a different province. It's very different. Alberta from Ontario is very different, especially where I was. I was in a town like called Olds. It's a little town. Mm-hmm. Coming from a big city, it's kind of different.
Yeah.
So that for me was kind of like almost like culture shock. But I mean, to me, like when you do certain stuff like that, like when you're committed to your sport, like you take sacrifices, and I mean like that aspect didn't really like matter too much to me at the end of the day, like it was different, but I knew that I was there for a reason, and things worked out. So
do you think like moving to like a smaller town kind of just help you like focus on yourself a bit more too? Because like I know like coming from like the big city, like it's kind of hard to like not necessarily focus on yourself, but there's a lot of things and people that can kind of take you off that path that you want to go. So do you think like going to Olds, like obviously you probably didn't even want to go there, but do you think it kind of just developed you to really focus on yourself and kind of like make you like the person you are now?
Yeah, for sure. Like distraction wise, I mean, there's nothing there. So like, yeah, definitely. But overall, I've always been like a really disciplined person. So even like being in a big city and stuff, it doesn't really affect me. Like I always say, like those are kind of like that. Those factors are kind of on the outside for me. Like no matter what, like I'm pretty disciplined. I can stay focused, and yeah, at the end of the day, that stuff doesn't really matter. But it was a big change, especially leaving family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like leaving family for that like extended period of time, and like not being able like I know like here in the Sioux, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's an 8-hour drive, but like it's and we play games down south, so you can still see your family a lot and stuff, but there I didn't see them at all until I went home for like Christmas or something. So yeah, that was a big change, but like I said, I think you have to make certain sacrifices to do what you want to do, and yeah, you know, I'm happy with how things played out.
So like you currently are studying BBA right now. Is there something that you kind of want to do with that degree in the future, or is it kind of like a safety that, you know, I have my degree after university and maybe let me try to pursue something that I always wanted to do? Is it a safety net kind of thing, or do you think like you want to do something with that degree?
Personally, for me, it's definitely more of a safety net. I mean, like I think the main reason like I wanted to go to post-secondary was to continue playing. Yeah. And I think it would be a great opportunity for me to get exposure and like just develop me into a better player. But being here, like I feel like that's really important. Like I take it seriously, and I feel like that's something that maybe I didn't do in the past, but like I really do take like my studies seriously now because while I'm here, why not, you know, get something that could be beneficial to my future? So that's the way I see it, really.
So is there what do you think you would want to do? Is there anything like, you know, like if it's not BBA, it's not soccer, what is something that you're kind of like passionate about that you want to like maybe pursue in the future?
Oh, for sure, like training, definitely. Yeah, I'm big on that. I'm big on training. Like one day, regardless of what I do, I would love to you know, start my own business, start my own gym, and train young athletes, because to me, like I'm really passionate about that. I'm really passionate about fitness. I'm really passionate about my sport. So definitely one day I think I'll get into that for sure.
With that like sort of career path that you probably would want to pursue, is it also like, because I know for myself, like especially in the soccer scene and like fitness, it's expensive, man. Yeah. Like it's expensive. Yeah. If you like, I feel like in Canadian soccer, like right now as it's developing, it's a lot of contacts, and to me it's also a lot about money as well. Yeah, for sure. Like I feel like soccer, like before, like I growing up, to me it wasn't even that expensive. But as I've gotten older and like I've gained more exposure and going through all these little things, I realized, like soccer is expensive. Training, it can be very expensive. Yeah. Do you think like if you pursue it, do you want to try to make that like a bit more affordable, or like try to, you know, reach out to more kids? Because there's a lot of ballers and a lot of kids who are really good at
go unnoticed. Yeah.
Are really good, but just because of that little financial difficulty, it kind of, you know what I mean, kind of offsets them to not really reaching that next level.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that matters a lot to me too, because personally, like I feel like, I won't say where or kind of how, but I feel like there's a lot of politics in the sport, especially in Canada, and certain areas, certain leagues, and like I said, like I didn't put a lot of money into my sport when I was young too, so that was an issue for me, you know, like my parents couldn't put a lot of money into me for my sport, so that was an issue to me. So definitely I would love to do something one day where like I could really like try to give back to the community. That's something that like like I really want to do, like above everything else that like I say I'm trying to strive for. I think ultimately, like if you're able to like go back and help your community and do great things, like that's something that I want to do, and that's something that I want to be a part of. So definitely I would love to have the opportunity to do something like that.
No, that's great, because like again, soccer, that is probably wanted to be one of the most expensive. So I agree. If you don't have money, sometimes it's like it's hard to get to that next level. And with that also, how was it like your development in soccer? Like, you know, getting to know you, there's been a lot of speed bumps, there's a lot of little bumps here and there, but how would you like kind of explain that, like that journey to like from the start to like here, you know, how would you explain that?
Oh yeah, it was tough. Like I said, like I didn't really have like my parents couldn't really put a lot of money into me playing in youth, so I kind of bounced around like playing recreational for a bit, and eventually a coach noticed me from a Etobicoke Youth Soccer Club, my coach Andrew, and he brought me up to the competitive level, and ever since then I've been playing competitive, and it's it's been interesting. You know what I mean? It has. I feel like my path hasn't been the path that a lot of like really good players take, but I'm happy with it. You know, and like I really don't regret anything that I've done. Whether I go here, I don't. And I think that like ultimately, whatever happens, like really falls on me. You know, I really don't try to pass the blame anywhere or say, oh, this is because I didn't make it because of this, or I didn't do this because of that. I really just try to take full accountability for myself. And at the end of the day, like, I think what I set my mind to do, like, I'm going to do. And regardless of where I am or how things are going, I think that, you know, I think I have the power to do that. And, yeah, ultimately, I'm happy with the way my journey went out. I think, like, one day I think it'll be a story to tell, you know? That's the way I see it.
For sure.
So, yeah, I'm happy for that.
I think one interesting thing that I never knew that I found out about you this year and kind of shocked me is obviously you do suffer from celiac. Yeah. But I think what makes it more interesting to me is like you're not really just a person who has celiac. You're a person who has celiac, but you're playing sports. You know what I mean? You can't do what some other people want to do. You know what I mean? So I mean, for people that don't know what celiac is, could you like explain?
Yeah, it's an autoimmune disease. Basically, I can't eat any products with gluten. Like I can't digest them properly. So like since I was diagnosed at 1 year old, I was really sick, and they found out I had celiac disease, and basically I have to stay on a gluten-free diet. So everything I eat has to be gluten-free. You know, obviously that's tough. I'm sure you know the challenges of just having to travel like down south and stuff like that. Like I can't just eat anywhere.
Yeah, no.
And that's the problem with me. So and it's really crucial to my health. So like I have to stay strictly on a gluten-free diet. So.
Well, that also like just with playing like sports too. You know what I mean? Because like. You were talking about like the traveling, and we'll like the team noticed, and like what I noticed, it's like we would travel. You know, we'd be making like 12-hour bus rides, and we're stopping to get food, and it's like you can't even like you know what I mean, like how have you have to like deal with some of that type of stuff, because it's like you can't really eat anywhere. You know, there's only a few spots that you trust too, because it also comes down to trust. Like, okay, do I even trust this restaurant?
That's the biggest thing.
And that's a big thing that. You don't want to risk, because there's no big reward. Like, I'll go here. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the risk is too big for just something like that. But how's it been to like deal with like that, like road trips, just friends and that stuff that you can't do some of that thing? Because obviously, like I think that you know, eating out with friends, it's also like a big thing.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
It's a big thing, you know, to just engage with your friends and stuff like that. But how would you kind of describe that?
Oh yeah, it's tough. But I mean. To be completely honest with you, I'm used to it now. I think it's more of a uncomfortable factor for other people at this point. You know what I mean? Like, we go out and they're like, why aren't you eating? And blah, blah, all this. But I feel like I've been asked that so much, like it doesn't really matter anymore to me at all. And definitely the one thing I'll say is about the traveling is like, I mean, we travel to a hotel. My mom brings me food. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that she's able to do that for me. But, you know, that's not only affecting me, though, that has to affect her too. You know, she has to take time out of her day, cook for me, bring it. You know, it's tough, but like I have no other choice. You know, and as to like growing up, like the social aspect, that was probably the biggest thing. As a little kid, like you know, when you have pizza days at school, you know, and when you know pizza parties and whatever it is, you know, when you go out as a little kid to eat, the social aspect, I think for a lot of kids is the hardest part. Yeah. You know, but I've learned how to deal with that. Like I said, to me right now, I think it's almost more uncomfortable for other people than it is for me. Yeah. You know, when we're sitting at a table, we go out, let's say we have a team dinner or something. I think it's uncomfortable for people to like eat around me and be like, oh, like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
No, for sure. Because I know, like, I know when we go out, and it's like, even myself, when I'm like, yo, bro, is there anything we can get you, right? Yeah. And it kind of makes like sometimes I feel kind of bad. No, sometimes I feel bad. It's like, bro, we just want to like give this guy something to eat, but at the same time, like, we gotta understand, and you know, again, it's not really worth it, like, you know what I mean? But do you think, obviously it's pretty rare, right? Yeah. So, with that being, do you think it's been hard playing sports and having this disease, or is it something that you've just been able to deal with easily? No,
it's definitely been harder. Because there's certain things, like I said, about the social aspects that you can't participate in. Just the extra stuff that I have to go through to make sure, like, I can't just play a match, go back to the hotel, and then you guys go out to eat. I gotta worry, okay, when is my mom gonna bring me food? Like, all that stuff. I have to worry is there a kitchen in the hotel? Yeah. You know what I mean? Can I heat up my food? like that's a whole like thing that I have to just worry about. But like I said, it's almost become like it's that's my life. To me, that's normal. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like I don't see it as any other way. But it definitely obstructs stuff like the traveling is the biggest part, and you know, you just got to learn to deal with things. Overall, I think having that, especially as a young kid, it taught me a lot. You know what I mean? It taught me that like, you know, sometimes things aren't going to be fair, and it is what it is. You know, and you just got to deal with your situation. You got to deal with the cards you're dealt. So honestly, to me, it's I think it taught me a lot as a young kid. It made me definitely more independent. You know. Simple things like going to the grocery store, like picking up the package. You don't just throw it in your car. You got to read the label. Got to make sure you know what you're doing. You gotta be knowledgeable about what you're putting into your body. So I think as a young kid, it definitely made me more independent. And you know, I don't wish for anything else, to be honest with you. So
also with that, like I know, like you live with one of your teammates, with one of our teammates. Yeah. Do you think like obviously he has to be very careful stuff like that too. But is that something that like you and him are just kind of used to, or is it kind of like you kind of have to just be aware sometimes, like, okay, did he do this, did he do that, or is it just just normal? Yeah.
Well, Aaron I've been living with since we played together in Olds. He's from Calgary. We played together in Olds. We met there, and we transferred together here. So I've been living with him for 2 years already, and he's great. Like he knows what he's doing. He makes sure that I have my own stuff. He has his own stuff. Simple things like what pans you're cooking with. We don't use the same pans and stuff like that. We don't use the same toaster. Like, but he's great. You know what I mean? Shout out Aaron, man. He's he's a good guy, and he completely understands. So it's good to be living with a person like that. Definitely.
Have you ever met anyone with like the same condition as you, or do you think you're like, or you just never really came?
Yeah, so the Canadian Celiac Association, when I was a young kid, they used to have like Christmas parties and stuff like that, where you'd go and you would kind of like meet other kids that have it. But honestly, like just without being affiliated with that, I haven't met a lot of people. I met some people. Every now and then they go, like they see what I'm buying, or they know about me and they're like, oh, my son has this, or my cousin has this, something like that. But I haven't met a lot of people. Like it's pretty rare. And but yeah, and something I remember I told you the other day is like I haven't met somebody like that who plays like competitive sports too, who I can almost relate to on the aspect of like it's tough, you know what I mean? But yeah, in regards to that, no, I haven't met a lot of people actually, besides going through like events where you're gonna meet up with people like that. But it is what it is. Yeah.
Have you ever experienced like anything like have you ever like, not even just having, like what really kind of happens when, let's say like, okay, by accident, like a little, like if some cross contamination happens, or you do have some, like, is it very severe towards you, or does it depend how much you have, or how's that kind of like?
Yeah, so for me, like I have celiac disease, so if I eat a little cracker, I'd be sick for like a day. You know what I mean? Physically sick. And worse off than that is like it damages my intestines. And like if you don't follow your diet, there's a lot of things that can lead to, like I know people can develop osteoporosis, different types of diseases and stuff like that. So it's really crucial to follow your diet, you know.
So you're more like prone to like, so just having, so like, are you like more prone to having other sort of diseases?
Yeah, there's certain diseases you're definitely more prone to, like osteoporosis. You're more prone to, I believe, diabetes. There's a lot of stuff that you're more prone to, just because like if you don't follow your diet, right, you're damaging your intestines. I know people who like had to have their intestines removed, like their small intestine removed. You know what I mean? Because that person didn't follow their diet properly. So it's crucial. Like you have to. And the thing about that is like me, I'm forced to follow my diet properly because I get very, very sick. You know what I mean? When some people, whether they're intolerant or whatever it is, they don't get sick like I do. You know?
Okay. So some people can be a bit less kind of severe if they have something.
But like overall, like and that's like being intolerant, like you know, having a gluten intolerance. But I have celiac disease, which is completely different. And I think sometimes people get that mixed up, and it is what it is, whatever. But yeah, it's a completely different thing.
Do you obviously kind of that topic? You know what I mean? It's an important topic to you. Obviously, just have one more question about that kind of topic. What would you kind of say to like people that do have celiac, or like, you know what I mean, like, because there's not a lot of people that have it. But what would you kind of say to like people going through that and just stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, when Honestly, that's a tough question. Yeah. You know, it's a tough question because...
You think that, because obviously you're very disciplined when it comes to habits. Like, it's not just because you have to, like, you also have to care about soccer and stuff like that too, where, you know, playing any sport, that diet has to be good, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because I do believe too, your diet does reflect your performance, and it does reflect, you know, how you are when you wake up in the morning. It's a big part of your life. So, do you think, like, I mean, obviously, you're the first one I met with tonight, but do you think that, like, some people who do have it, and just other diseases, don't really fully kind of they don't really fully pay close attention to, like, kind of how you do? Because I feel like some people, like, obviously you've been able to deal with this disease, and it hasn't really, you know, taken over you. You know what I mean? Some people, I feel like, they kind of, not make an excuse, but they kind of, like, say, like, okay, I have this condition. There's not much I can do. I feel like you've kind of been able to kind of break that barrier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, me, I'm fortunate to have like a family around me that they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? So like I say, when my mom brings me food, like that's something I'm very thankful for. You know what I mean? If I didn't have that, I'd be in a situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like I'm very, like, I think number one is like having people around you that understand and like are knowledgeable of it. Yeah. You know, like I know as a kid it was tough because like my parents didn't know what this was right away. You know what I mean? And they started telling them, oh, he can only eat this, he can only eat this. And at the beginning, like, we made a lot of mistakes. You know what I mean? Because you just don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? But yeah, overall, like, I think just having like my family around me, they know what they're doing. Like my grandma's always cooking, my mom's always cooking for me, so that's really important to me. You know, and also like because of that, like I said, I feel like it's made me more independent, but also like certain things like cooking. You know what I mean? Like I was cooking at a really young age. I learned how to cook. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just certain things like that I think played out from that you could say are positives. You know, so.
Just also with that like that I just kind of thought of. Obviously, you know, growing up, like elementary, middle, high school, you know, you're living with your parents or whatever. They're making you food. You're making food for yourself. But how was that kind of like when you had to move to Olds for college? How was your mom kind of reaction? Because she's always been used to cooking food for you. You know, was she kind of like a bit nervous? Like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, how was her reaction?
Yeah, she was more nervous than me. 100%. Yeah, because I mean, me and my mom are like very very close. So obviously, when I go away like that, it's not only the food aspect. That's on top of that. That's stress on top of that. But just that I'm leaving the house. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, she was definitely worried, you know, and I think a big thing we were worried about was like the living situation, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm living with another person. I don't know them yet, you know, but ended up that I went and the two people I lived with become like some of the best friends I ever had, you know what I mean? So, and they were really understanding and like they were just really good with me, man. Like, you know, it wasn't hard, you know, it wasn't ever a situation where like I kind of just had to explain thing one time and like they were like, okay, like, no, we know. And so that probably the living situation added the most stress.
I would have loved to hear I would love to hear Aaron's reaction when you told him that. Like, this is the person he is. I feel like that would be either an awkward or just a funny kind of moment of seeing his reaction at that one.
But both my teammates and roommates in Olds, Alan and Aaron, they're great people and they completely understood. So that honestly, it didn't even end up being a problem for me, which I'm really grateful for them too. Those are really good friends of mine.
Obviously, I mean, you come to Sault Ste. Marie too, because I feel like we haven't touched a bit on that. How have you enjoyed the Sault and Algoma? It's obviously you obviously said university was like a bit of a harder transition, but how have you enjoyed the Sault?
Honestly, it's alright. It's alright. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. First time I came here, I was a bit kind of like, I was a bit like, I would say I was a bit what's the word? I was a bit like iffy about it.
Yeah.
But obviously it's my second year here. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I've kind of learned it's what it's really known for. Like, it's obviously a smaller city. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get what you get from, like, Mississauga and Toronto.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think we probably had the same reaction. So, but overall, yes, it's nice. You know, like, I was in a smaller town in the middle of Alberta. Okay. So, like, to me, playing in Olds, you know what I mean? So, to me, it's like, it doesn't, like I said, to me, certain things, like, those are external factors. Like, they don't really affect me too much. So, I come here, I just try to play hard, play well, and at the end of the day, that's really all that matters to me, so.
And with that also being said, like, how have you enjoyed the OUA season so far? Obviously, you've had some barriers to deal with, but how have you kind of enjoyed the OUA season? From an individual standpoint, you know what I mean?
No, yeah. It's been tough. It's been tough. I think this is one of the first years where like I've really dealt with some health issues, and yeah, just not being healthy. So I mean, it's been tough so far. I wish it would have went better, but it is what it is. And right now, I'm really just focused on getting healthy and getting back onto the pitch. So yeah, that's really all I can say about that, to be honest.
With that being said, I want to thank you for this interview, Chris. It was amazing having you today. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.